So the thing I love about river fishing is you keep moving. You're not waiting for fish to come to you, you're going to them. And in a big pool like this, you've got those little key areas. And while this is all slow moving water here, it's still got flow to it. That there is a prime spot. This bit of ripple here, there's a rock or a log or something in the water, and there's every chance that if there's a fish here, he's going to sit off the back of this. So I'm going to approach it. Working upstream is always good because the fish are looking upstream, so you're coming up from behind them. And the other one that it's worth doing too, there could be multiple fish sitting here, and I can see with my Polaroids on, it's a bit deeper through here. Make a short cast because you could catch the fish that's sitting here without spooking a fish that's sitting there. But if you hook a fish out there and there's one sitting here, when you hook him, you'll drag him through here and spook the other fish. So just work short, then work longer. These fish are facing into the current, waiting for food to come to them. Really good bit of info too. Wherever you've got pump houses on rivers, it generally means there's a bit of deeper water, so they're always a good spot to sort of fish. Got him. Whee. There we go. While the rapids are so good and the shallow sort of runs, big pools hold big fish. So you've got different areas to fish in the river. And what we've got here is a big slow moving pool. There's a bit of structure in it. There'll probably be a few boulders, and the fish will still position themselves in these prime areas. And the fish I've got here is a brown trout. He's not huge, but the brownies love the slow water because they're lazy fish. And often this is where the really big fellas will be. So we get this guy in. A lot of people might be saying, where's your net? I don't tend to use a net to get my trout. And yes, I've lost some good ones by not having a net, but as a snotty-nosed rugrat growing up in the snowy mountains, we just went up the rivers and caught our fish and didn't worry about the net. Good way to do it, glide your fish in here. Oh, he'll do his little crocodile roll. And the biggest thing is if you don't squeeze them, they're generally more relaxed. And that guy there, he's on probably one of the world's most famous trout lures. The Rapala CD5, looks like a trout, swims like a trout, and trout love to eat trout. Alright, so the key to being successful doing this river fishing for trout or whatever species you may be chasing is to be amobile. We're going to the fish, hitting the prime spots, keep moving. Travel light, have your water and stuff you need in a backpack if you need. I've just got my little bum bag at the front here. Just enough lures to get me through. I've got some soft plastics in there, some leader, cutters, forceps to get the hooks out. And lure-wise, I've just got a range of stuff here. So everything from your little Rapala, CD5s and things like that everybody loves, through to some deeper diving, you know, double clutches and jack deeps, some good old spinners. I grew up using these guys, they catch trout everywhere. Some little plastics, more plastics in there. This is pretty well all I need to be able to hit everything from water that's, you know, that deep through to multiple meters deep, which is right here. And right now I'm going to swap over. I'm going to put a deep diver on and just plow the bottom just through this sort of 100 meters or so, because the big brownies will probably sit down a little bit deeper through these slow runs. So find something that they might like that guy there. I'm always sort of working at that, I suppose, 45-degree angle. I don't like to cast straight up. And the reason that I don't like to cast straight up is that the river's flowing down, so you've got to wind faster to keep up with the lure. But the other thing is that when you cast up and wind straight down, you're basically showing your lure to just the fish that's in front of it. Whereas if we do this angled cast like this, right, we're pulling it across the river, so any fish scattered across the river can see it. But also what you can do is you'll find at the start of the cast, you'll be winding a little bit quicker. All right, and you just want to feel that lure kicking, whether it's a spinner, a Tassie, a diver, whatever. And then as it sweeps around and gets, I suppose, below you, I'm always moving my rod tip to keep it in line with the lure. And you'll find that as it gets around and it gets level and then past you, that lure's pulling into the current a little bit, so you can actually wind it much slower, which is also holding it in the zone through here for that little bit longer. And as it sweeps across, the fish they love it. It sweeps this way and then it's sort of sweeping that way. It's just prime for the trout. So watch this, if I wind in this quick now, right? And as this gets to here, I'm actually slowing this down, and the lure's kicking actually harder than it was when it was up ahead of me, because it's being pulled sort of, you know, diagonally up and across the current. Okay, so it's a fact of life, casting at snags. you are going to get snagged every now and then. Put one in the trees. Once you get snagged, don't just, rip it. Just try starting off with like that, just a little jiggle. We don't want to bury those hooks in any deeper, but this lures across the river in some really spindly, soft willow. So I don't think I'm going to get it back. From there, point the rod at there and just even try the bow and arrow sort of technique, right? And that can actually bounce the lure off, but everything's just really spongy, so I don't think it's going to happen. So this is at the point of no return. So at this point here, I'm probably going to have to break it off. Don't do this with your rod and try and break it. That's how you break your fishing rods. Point everything straight down the line, grab the spool of the reel, walk back. Sometimes that lure will come out, and if not, it's a direct pull, so you're not going to damage the rod. Broke it off. There goes 30 bucks. And now it's time to re-rig. Trick I've always found wading in rivers too, you got rocky, slippery bottom and mud and things. It's easier to sort of cross a river facing upstream rather than downstream, because when you're downstream you're getting pushed and it's easy to lose your balance. So face up, but also when you're walking, don't do a big high step. Just sort of lift your foot and slide it forward, just gently. And you'll find that you're sort of just almost like crab walking across the bottom, and you just feel a lot more steady. And if something goes wrong, you can just get your foot down much easier. So what I'm looking for here is key areas. This is a nice big wide stretch of shallow water. Obviously on the other side, you've got shadows there and you've got that snag. There's a bit of calmer water off the back of that snag. So that's a prime spot for a fish to be sitting, especially a brown trout. They're a bit more lazy than the rainbows. And then there's little pockets all the way up along here, but I want to hit this now while it's got shadow. That's one of the key factors that I'm really liking. I want to get that sort of 45 degree, a bit of angle upstream, not straight up, not straight down, nice across and sweep. Got him. Don't go downstream. You see I've got the rod low here. I'm trying to pull him across now out of that faster water. He was sort of where he should have been if he's a rainbow. He's in that fast bit of water. I'd hit the lure into that calm pocket in the back for a brown. But this guy was loving the morning, sitting here waiting for a feed. Look at that. That's a nice looking fish. Just stay like that, mate. There we go. That easy. Love it when a plan comes together. Here's wallop that. All right. Pop that out. And then we pop that out. That's job done for that. And I'll give you all a good look. Oh, sorry, there he is, right there. But that was a rainbow trout. Right there, he's still sitting there going, what was all that about? So what I did there was I evaluated the situation before I raced in and made a cast. I could see there was a bit of a rise in the bottom, so I waded out to it. There was shadows in a bit of a back pocket on the other side of the river and some slower water. And then that came out and the current sort of hit that slow water. The back pocket was where I was aiming for a brown trout sitting out of the current. But then the theory was once you hit that faster water, you're every chance of a rainbow because they love that fast stuff, and it worked beautifully. The lure came out of the slow water, hit the fast water, started to swing and got bit straight away. It's pretty simple sort of philosophies and theories, and you can look at a spot and go, there should be one there or there should be one here, but there's plenty of other things I'll show you along the way today.